Welcome back to Black Skies Reviews. In this review, we're taking a look at the Joytoy officially licensed Warhammer 40k, the Imperial Fist 3rd Captain, Tor Garadon. This is 1/18 scale action figure, and these are recommended for adult collectors, at least ages 15 and above. This is the packaging it comes in. The newer style white and black boxes. Looks pretty nice. Top of the box. Bottom of the box. Here's the side of the box. If you guys need to read that, you go ahead and pause it. And here's that side of the box. We have the sideways and the straight up and down literature on the box. And then on the back here we have some product images. Very large one showing the character and his cape. The small ones front, back, and a close-up of the headshot. So it looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and take a look at this guy. He looks pretty interesting. So join me on this review. And let's see what this guy has to offer. Okay, here's how he's packaged inside the clamshell. You do have this cape in a little baggie. And that's the way he's set up. And here's how I figured just out the packaging. And my first impressions is, wow, this guy is a beast. Also what I noticed too, there's not a whole lot of accessories that are individually packaged. Most of the stuff that he comes with is already connected to the figure, except for his cape and a little like a sensor array that goes on top of his backpack or power pack. Well, if you don't know much about Tor Garadon, he is the 3rd captain of the Imperial Fist chapter and the longest serving commander of the Imperial Fist 3rd Company, the Sentinels of Terra. He is an unstoppable warrior on the battlefield. He's been tested on 1,000 worlds. He is a master of warfare. And I kind of think Joytoy nailed that persona because he looks like a beast. He is a very menacing looking figure outside the packaging. Definitely going to demand a presence on your shelf or in your war games or your war band. You know, all your diagrams, your photographs, playability is there. It looks fantastic. So let's go ahead and start taking a really good look at this figure, because there is a lot to see. So overall, he's wearing the Mark 10 Gravis power armor. Man, there's a lot going on here. Just on the beginning at the top of his head, you see he's like got his white hair, some light tan, dry brushing. It looks like a military kind of style of warrior. He has a lot going on inside here at this dome. It looks like this is to be like the aggressor armor from all the other figures. We have a device here down in a gunmetal. We have some kind of optics here. We have 2 lenses. One kind of looks like a camera. And then we have this one here. It is attached to the hood. It looks like maybe something would come over and cover that up, but he doesn't have that feature. And then he has some gear here. If you can see way down in here, there's some of those blue lenses just on the inner side right here. And in the back of there, there's like tubing. It's really hard to see, but back behind the head there's like these silver tubes that go around the back. And then on the side of his head here, he has some silver. It's very, very difficult to get your hand in there to turn that, but he has these side pieces done in gunmetal over his ear on that side. He has a silver stud right there. Just on right there, so much detail. And we just started right with his head and shoulder area. It's pretty cool. I don't know if you can see that silver in the back there or not, but hopefully you can get a good angle maybe. Yeah, maybe right there. That's really cool. That's a lot of detail, even like hidden like that. Start over here. You have the Imperial Fist insignia, and this is a 3D piece. This one's not painted on like the other ones. You can feel the texture. Then even the circle is also raised. It's not a painted piece. Then we have the red trim. And the overall power armor is just like the yellow with the brown dry brush throughout. It looks very, very, very cool. And then over here we have the Imperial Fist logo again with like a lightning bolt with the red trim around it. Very, very nice. Across the chest here we have the very cool, we're used to seeing like the metallic red skull wings, and but this one we have the Imperial Fist with the wings. That's a really cool modification to that symbol. So over here on the arm we do have this computer. Very nice. We have the blue metallic screen, and then the red dots, like 3 dots there. And on the back of that, we have some more of those red lenses, I'm going to call them, because I don't know what that is. Then we have the silver cylinder here. Then we have these little notches on his fist. He does not come in any alternate hands, so this guy's a fisted warrior. You're not going to be able to give him any kind of weapons to hold, unfortunately. But just put him on a battlefield and let him go. Pretty nice. So if we go over this way, get his arms straightened up from the packaging, and we're going to take a look at this piece here. This is incredible. So this is a power fist, I believe, and this is, I believe, called to be, this is a relic. So this is the Hand of Defiance, I believe. And I must say, it is very well sculpted. We get the 2 3D skulls there, which is very interesting, just because the skulls are on this like gold band. It's like wrapped around these cylinders here, and the way they have these hinges, it looks like this thing like pops up, like this whole piece here would flop up and stick out like 2 tubes. I don't know if that's some kind of like flamethrower or attachment. We do have some tubing we'll be looking at here in a second, but that would be a great feature if that actually did. I can't see why I couldn't do that. So we just would flop over, and then that would be whatever weapon that is. And also, I think they missed an opportunity to put the hinge here so you can actually close that, but I'm not sure if it would work very well because those are raised, what we call lenses here, and I probably won't be able to shut it. And I say maybe some kind of indentation into the plastic. But here you can see like the hinges are pretty much sculpted there, and you pull those down, that would be killer. Very, very nice. On a business end here, we do have the power fist, steel knuckles, what do we want to call it? I'm not sure what I can call these. I know this is like for the force that's being generated into his victim. We just look at the sculpting here on the knuckles. That's very cool. It looks like that actually, it got sculpted and painted where it looks like a working piece, but it's not, unfortunately. Didn't even have it down here on the upper. As we get towards the fingertips, we have the black here on the inside for the palm of his hand, and his thumb sculpted pretty nicely. Let's take a look at that, because this is a very nice piece. Just his power glove. Very, very cool. So that is awesome. So we'll look at those hoses here in a second, because we have everything flopping around, because it comes like this out the package. So let's finish our way down on the figure here. We do have this piece here that's on a peg, and you probably can remove it maybe. Maybe is it on a peg? Maybe not. I'd be very careful with that. I'm sure it's gone there. It's on a peg. It looks like that piece is actually on there. And mine looks like it might have popped out a little bit. That's a little bit. I'm sure I'll have to take a look at that later, because hard to see through the camera, but that's a pretty interesting looking piece. We have a very, I think it's actually a longer purity seal here. It's pretty decent. On his styles, we have the vents. Over here, we have like a cylinder piece on his kneecap, or his thigh pad, or knee pad, I'm sorry. Has this red skull, which is fantastic. I love that. Over here, we have this kind of metal wreath. Nothing much to see on his feet. He does have the more of the different style we used to see in the more of the aggressor, or maybe the, can't remember those ones that are on the stand, but these ones here have the gap between. Maybe like a high, I don't want to say a high heels, because that's not appropriate for this guy. He's not no. Never mind, we're not gonna go there. Top of the hair, we have 2 cylinders, and if you notice the power pack connection piece is up at an angle instead of like flat on his back, because this kind of sits that way, he leans towards the front. On the back, we have a cylinder here. We have these tubings from his side to the back of his calf muscles, and none of this stuff is removable. It's all stationary stuff. Other than that, there's not much to see on the back of the figure at all. But let's get to this floppy piece here. So on this side, we have this tubing here. It's kind of like a, tube on top of tube, and then we have a black wire that runs down and has these little connector pieces that give it like it's connected. You guys can see that black wire there or not? It's pretty cool. And then before we get to the pack, here on this side we have these 2 wires, These are connected. We have this gunmetal tubing, and this is a black. And this isn't like PVC. This is very stiff. Well, not stiff, like, oh, it's not hollow, I should say. So it's not going to bend on you. And like there's old G.I. Joe type weapons that had those black little tubings. Now that we get into the power pack here, we have, let's see if I can get him the angle right. We have the pack here. It's done in the same color as armor. We have some kind of like a ammunition box, we're going to call our power source for this weapon here. And if I'm not mistaken, this is an armor-mounted Grav-gun. So this is pretty nice. So you have the energy-based weapon. I'm thinking that's what this is. And this is where the source comes from, into the black tubing. Then we have the connector piece. It looks very nice as a piece to keep your tubing straight. Gunmetal and black, like we see in a lot of the weapons. Then we have this. This is kind of the same color as hair, basically, like a white with the tan over top of it. With a flat black. Here's the business end of that thing. It's pretty nice. Other side of it. Very, very cool. And then what we need to do here is we need to get this. Now this is not very flexible, so I'd be very careful about breaking your peg off. So you just want to get that straight as possible. And that pops on like right there. And that's how that looks. And all we have to do now is just try to get him. There's a lot of resistance and stuff because there's so much going on onto his back. And it fits. I'm glad that's a very nice tolerance on my figure, because that would be a nightmare to try to get him to get that to fit right for the figure. Now he's kind of wonky. He doesn't really have much of a problem standing on his own. But that's kind of what you got so far outside the box as already pre-attached items. And this is how he looks so far. Oh, that's a lot going on here to see. We'll take some closer up images as we take a look at one more piece that we need to stick on him for temporarily. Here we have this piece here. If anybody knows what this is, I tried to do some research. I don't know what this is. Some kind of optic array, maybe. I don't know. So we have a couple antennas, some silver there, some gunmetal, and as the inner base. We have this blue and a red throughout here to kind of like fill in the rest of the character that has that piece. And then this piece just connects here on the top. So I'm telling you what, this figure is really tolerant. I am so lucky. Most of the time I get ones that don't work out for me very well. So here's what that looks like on top of it. What that's even no, see, that's the only thing about that is like there's no hinge there to make the thing go up or down. I kind of think they missed that again on the lack of the hinges. Or it might not see there now. No, that's a solid piece. So they missed the opportunity. It's almost like he's pigeonholed in firing that weapon in that direction at that angle, and then so he has to stand on a mountain or something to shoot down at somebody. Because in battles, like he'd be shooting at somebody's feet, and he'd probably take some backblast of that on the figure perspective. Okay, so for his pretty much his second accessory here is just his cape. Here we have this piece. This is a new piece for the Warhammer or Joytoy figures. We have the Imperial fist plate with the wreath there in the skull. And this one actually has a working functional clasp here. It's very soft, so that's going to be relatively irritating to get that to fit in there. You can see me already trying. I'm not going to mess with it a whole lot on the camera. But the inside of this thing is black. Red with a black wash. And it's very unique. There's no instructions on where to put this at, so the only thing I can do is try to look at the box and see where it goes. Okay, so I gave you kind of an idea, because this is definitely going to be a very difficult piece. So for most of the ones go like underneath the power pack. This one looks like it got to come underneath the wires and go over the shoulder, kind of like this, and up around, and then somehow, somewhere, Yeah, so it kind of like sits on the side here like this. And you're supposed to try to get this down like around his waist here. And then you got to bring that the other piece here up under here, which I'm not going to do this on camera because you get the idea. This is a softer rubber and it's not going to connect. To give you it fits. You can see I can get it. It's properly measured. But to get that in there without, that's going to take some work. So give you an idea what it looks like that for a perspective. But I mean, it's just not connected. Wow, things falling off here for me. So that's what it kind of looks like as a whole, I guess. So not too bad. See if I can spin him around without losing anything. See how the cape kind of flows. It's kind of made to where it flows backward like it's blown in the wind. Pretty nice. Alright, so with that purpose, I'm going to go ahead and just take this piece off. And we're going to take a look at some of the range of articulation. So up here on top, these things will spin 360. This, I'd be very careful with doing that. I don't think you should do it because the way this is connected, you're going to break something here. So I'd say maybe a little side to side. Of course, you can do what you want Joytoy, but not recommended by me at least. The head for the articulation, hard to get in there. Get up and down. You can do 360 rotation for the most part. If you can get in there, it'd take me too long, and you don't want to see me fiddle with it all for like a long period of time. So arms are on a ball joint, and again, a lot going on here. So, and the hose obviously is just going to become a problem when you rotate the arm. It's just going to pop off your power pack. So you got pretty much like maybe raised up to his head, kind of right there before it becomes a problem. You should lose the length of the hose. He does have the bicep swivel 360, the double jointed elbow. The hand is on a ball joint, I should say wrist. Goes up and down, in and out, all the way around, and all the places in between as we're used to seeing on that arm. This hand, we have the same bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, but that's going to be it. It's going to stop there. There's no articulation, unfortunately, in his glove. We have waist articulation, a good 360, but there's too much going on with all those wires. We have the back, forward. We have, he's a big boy, man. He's a beast. Swivel, die swivel. See if I can go on this side and see if we can get a range with those tubings. So I kind of fall out the way. A double jointed knee kind of gets up pretty good with those tubings being in there. And so his feet, pretty much just stationary down. And then we have side to side, toe articulation up. And then if you want to force it past these round cylinders, you might get it. I'm not too sure. Wow, this is very tough to hold onto. There's so much going on in this figure. And then pegging his feet there. And again, back to standing, no problems. Pretty nice. It looks very cool. So my final thoughts for him, he's a very cool figure. He's definitely awesome to have for your Imperial Fist chapter. I do recommend him. Fortunately, he is definitely on a pricier side. He is average of $75 because he's one of the bigger figures. And you're going to kind of expect that for the overall aesthetics, paint, all the features that he has. He's a big boy. So, I'm not saying it's no very expensive. In my opinion, they're all kind of overpriced, but it is what it is. Pay royalties and everything else that you have to do. I get it, but we don't have to like it, but we can have to deal with it, unfortunately. I think they missed the beat on the hinges. A couple hinges here on the Grav-gun and a sensor array at the top, so you could raise it up and down. And maybe that's, I kind of get that part over here, but flipping these down would have been an awesome feature, and it could have been done very easy because that's like a piece that It's definitely a size that they could do it with. May cost more money if they did it. I don't know. But at least the hinges for these guys so you can move them back. Unfortunately, it's not there. Other than that, I think he's an awesome figure. Highly recommend him for your Imperial Fist. So that's all I got for you guys. So if you guys like this review, please consider subscribing to the channel. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up if you like the figure, you like the review. Comment down below. Share the video with your fellow friends and collectors if you like. Don't forget to check out the rest of my videos. A lot of stuff on my channel for you guys. Different kind of brands, lines. Hope you guys enjoy the content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next review.